for LaBelle and also Lewistown. That is a result of this particular thunderstorm that is now in eastern Shelby County. This is now making its way into parts of western Clark County, parts of western Lewis County. This is also going to not quite western Marion County, not quite yet, but it will be making its way out of eastern Knox County and into the parts of western Lewis County here very soon. Not quite sure what the National Weather Service is going to be doing with that as it makes its way off to the east, but we'll continue to monitor that. Stick around. We'll have KHQA News at 10 getting underway here at the very top of the hour. We'll continue to monitor this as we progress into the 10 o'clock hour. And again, that tornado warning is valid. I've got to go take a look at my cheat sheet here. That tornado warning is valid until 10:30 tonight, as issued by the National Weather Service office out of St. Louis. Again, if you're in the path of this, Shelbyville, Plevna, Emden, Novelty, Bethel, Newark, Leonard, it looks as though the worst may just be getting on the other side of you, but hopefully you will be seeing the worst of it just kind of beginning to wrap up in Leonard. I'm told that we will continue to be doing this until I am instructed otherwise. So that's going to be the word of that. So we'll continue that. Let me zoom in here and see what cities have cleared. Edina looks like the worst is off to the east. That's good news for you. Let me take a little closer look here. Looks like it may have also cleared the Douglas Farm. I think that may be some relief there. Knox City, you're still getting some heavy rainfall. Head City, it just looks like it's kind of wrapping up there. Cherry Box, the heaviest of the rain is just off to your east. Leonard, yes, the heaviest of the rainfall east of Highway 151, at least at this point in time. Kellerville, Hager's Grove, Clarence, also looks like the heaviest of the rainfall, at least for now, has now shifted off to the east along Highway 151. Woodville, Cox, Levick, Mill, Jacksonville. Now we're getting into Macon County territory. Still looking at some heavy rainfall there, but this particular warned storm, you had your fair share, your tete-a-tete with this because it did spawn that tornado warning earlier. Then it seemed like it weakened a bit, but then really intensified across the eastern portion of Macon County, and this is causing this little headache here across parts of Shelby County. So let's take a look at the towns that may be impacted as this continues to move off to the east if it holds its strength. I do want to say, Ewing, you may want to think about thinking about seeking a place of safety now rather than a little bit later. If you're around the town of Tolona along Highway 6, you know who you are. Lewistown, again, LaBelle, if you haven't sought a place of safety, you need to do it now. The same thing with Stephenville, Nelsonville, Sigsbee, Philadelphia. Again, if you're seeing that lightning off to your west, you need to probably move to your safe haven now rather than later. Warren, Emden. These are the towns that I'm naming off. You may not be in a warned area now, but you may be getting into a warned area situation in the not too distant future. Now, what else do we have going on? We got a tornado watch that is in effect now until 4 o'clock in the morning. Counties right along the Mississippi River and points east. That until 4 o'clock is issued by the Storm Prediction Center. Those tornado watches that were issued until 10 o'clock tonight, right now it looks like the National Weather Service is going to allow those to expire at 10 o'clock. That includes Van Buren and those counties along central and western Missouri. I've not seen anything else otherwise, according to National Weather Service chat. Let's send it out to Nick Stewart. Nick, are you still monitoring? Nick has been in an area that has been a little bit on the sketchy side as far as the signal, the cellular signal is concerned. Nick, are you there? I can hear you.
Hey, Rich, I am here. I'm sorry about that.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, so far I'm kind of coming in the backside of the storm. Again, just to repeat earlier, very intense, probably 80, 90 mile per hour wind gusts on that Knox-Shelby County line between Novelty and Leonard. Very intense wind. So it's not even the tornado that's at risk here. It's also the very strong, damaging wind. After the wind pushed through, then I got cored by some very large hail, probably about the size of quarters, maybe a little bit bigger. Copious amounts at times kind of covering the roadways, making it a little slick out there. And then the very heavy rain came. This is kind of a multifaceted warning, all different types of impacts at our issue right here. The good news is that while I've been traveling south, basically on 151 across the area, I have yet to see any signs of significant damage. Also, when I drove through Leonard, the tornado sirens were sounding, so definitely a lot of good warning here. I hope you're taking the shelter. Looking at the radar in my vehicle, I have to tell you the indication is still very strong, damaging wind threat, very strong winds. Again, I estimated probably about 80 miles per hour.
That's a lot of wind, Nick, and glad to know that you are absolutely safe. And right now, we have a new tornado warning that has just come out as expected. Looks like this is now for, let me get the counties here, Lewis, Marion, Shelby. This is until 10:30. And the text of this is as follows, if I can grab it. Severe thunderstorm. This is capable of producing a tornado near Emden, moving east at 65 miles an hour. So Palmyra, Warren, LaGrange, Maywood, Emden, Philadelphia, and Taylor. This includes Waukesha State Park. You need to take cover now and move to that interior room. This is, looks like the core of this, Nick, as expected. This is Nelsonville, Benbow, Naomi, Emerson, Hester, again, Philadelphia. Now's the time to take action on this. Smileyville, North River, Palmyra, Woodland, you're on the far southern edge of that. But now you need to take shelter, and you need to take shelter now. Even LaGrange, you need to be taking shelter. West Quincy, and again, all those areas right there along Highway 6, Durham, even Ewing, you're on the far northern fringe, but I'm not a betting person. I'd take shelter if I were you. And then seek a place of safety. You're under that tornado warning until 10:30 tonight. Again, this very strong thunderstorm that is capable of producing that tornado is moving off to the east and just slightly to the northeast at about 65 miles an hour. Okay, that's fine. That's disposed. I don't know if it's printed yet.
Nope, not yet.
I don't think it has printed yet. I can force it to print. We're having just a little. What happens is when it gets busy, sometimes the machinery just doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do, and you got to force it to do what it's supposed to do, and that can be an issue sometimes. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this going the way it should be. And let's see here. There we go. We'll go ahead and just kind of force print that for Tegan to go ahead and get that out and going. There we go. All right. So, by the way, we do have live radar up on our Facebook page, KHQA. If you want to go there and take a look at the radar, it is updating even as we speak.
We got sirens in Canton.
And you have sirens going off in Canton?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that is a precautionary mode. No matter what, if you hear the sirens, you need to be kind of not ignoring them, understanding and respecting them, and taking shelter for your own safety. So Philadelphia, again, I'm looking at some of this here as this makes its way inbound. Emden, you're just getting pounded with some of that rainfall. It doesn't look as an intense, but Sigsbee and Burkesville, there's an area of rainfall that's right in between there that just looks just absolutely, it's more than a frog strangler. Highway J to Shelby 176 and bounded by Shelby 181 to the west of that, and Highway W. That is just some pretty intense rainfall that is coming out of the clouds right there in that one narrow spot And then there's just a little bit of an inflow that's on the backside east of Shelbyville. That tells me that there's some wind associated with that, and probably a lot of it. Nick Stewart, I didn't know where you were just a moment ago. Could you repeat your location for us? Nick, are you there?
Right now, I'm approaching Shelbyville. I'm on I believe that's Route K, just west of Shelbyville. I'm kind of basically following the storm now as it approaches, as it heads into Marion County. I'm on the backside, so I'm going to be kind of following this to see if there's really any damage with this storm. Again, I was just pounded by the storm earlier. 80-mile-per-hour winds, maybe even stronger at times. So it's not only the tornado threat you got to worry about, it's also this very strong damaging wind threat, that very strong signature on the radar, that Boeing segment, very strong indication of very strong wind. Also, pretty large hail, too. We were hit by some pretty strong hail up in that direction as well. And finally, very quick rainfall, accumulated very quickly on the roadways. If you're out and about, for one, get to a safe shelter. But if you're in the areas past this tornado-warned storm, notice that the roads are going to be wet. There's going to be some hydroplaning issues on the roadways. I'm going to continue heading up towards the Emden area to keep following the storm here.
Okay, very good. Nick Stewart, thank you very much. Nick Stewart is out there in the Schottenkirk Storm Runner, kind of right there on the heels of that one particular thunderstorm. And let's see here. I didn't know if I was getting any updates there on the phone or not. I'm getting all sorts of things thrust at me, and I have no idea if I'm getting an update or not. All right, here's the latest in the radar image. Heavy rainfall from Holiday, Woodlawn along Highway 51. There's the latest radar update there. Heavy rainfall south of Shelbyville along Highway 15, Highway 36 to the north of Honeywell. Then it takes a northerly turn. I'm saying the storm cell itself along Highway 168, east of Bethel, east of Newark towards Ewing. Then we get to Monticello, Highway 16 from LaBelle to Monticello. Your storm sirens have already sounded. Canton, your sirens have sounded. If not, they are sounding. Then along Highway 81 towards Cahokia. Rainfall not is that intense, but it's still pretty good rainfall. And then, again, we've got that tornado warning that is in effect until 10:30. LaGrange to Palmyra, west to about Warren and Emden. This is for that one particular thunderstorm cell that looks a little bit more disorganized now than it did even just about 15 minutes or so ago. I'm looking at some of the text here on the National Weather Service chat. Not really seeing a whole lot of updates for our neck of the woods, but it sure looks like an active going of it for parts of central Missouri, specifically right around Columbia. They've had some power outages around Kansas City towards about Sedalia. We also had a non-thunderstorm related power outage around Timewell, but I've not heard anything since that outage was reported about an hour or so ago, maybe a little bit more than an hour or so. But nonetheless, this storm, by the way, moving very quickly off to the east at about 65 miles an hour. St. Patrick, your heaviest of the rainfall is just to the west. Antioch, Williamstown, worst seems to be just kind of wrapping up, as the heaviest of the rainfall is just to the east. So now the National Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Knox and Shelby. So you're pretty much in the clear. Tagan's already got that off the printer. So Knox, Shelby, you're in the clear. But still, we're looking at that tornado warning for Lewis, Marion. This is going until 10:30 tonight. So we're going to keep it right here. If you're tuned in for KHQA News, we'll get to it here. Just as long as this tornado warning is still valid, we're going to keep it right here. But again, good news, Shelby, Knox, you are in the clear with that particular tornado warning. So there are no valid, I don't believe there are any valid warnings out for Shelby County. But again, we have that one for Audrain County. That one is valid until 10:45, I believe. So we appreciate any reports. If you can send them to weather@khqa.com. Of course, if you're a certified weather spotter by the National Weather Service, report those to the National Weather Service. They will relay them via chat circuit. We'll get them right here on the air via that way. You can also go to our Facebook page, as we're kind of monitoring that as well. And Tegan is also being a Facebook fiend, along with Raja Maples, as we try to kind of put this all out in the social media circuits and try to keep you abreast of that, because there may be some localized power outages that we don't know about. So if you want to text them or let them know, we can also get that out onto the bigger pipeline, overall pipeline, if you will. Nick Stewart has been out and about near Shelbyville, Shelby County, kind of investigating that heaviest of the storm that came through, that tornadic storm. Good news for Knox County and, again, Shelby County. You're pretty much in the clear. All that heavy rainfall now well off to the east, although you may be seeing some occasional lightning strikes. But LaGrange and also the junction of Highway 61 and 6, that heaviest of the rainfall is just up over the hill and just beyond the horizon right there. Warren, you're getting some heavy rainfall. I wouldn't doubt that you're also probably getting some pretty good wind. Palmyra, some pretty good lightning displays off to your west as well. Really haven't seen a whole lot of specific lightning flashes on our sky cam, but we're starting to see some of those starting to show up in the distance right there above the horizon. Now we're getting a severe thunderstorm warning now issued by the Quad Cities Weather Service. Hancock County, also McDonough County, this thunderstorm warning until 11:30. That's 11:30. Severe thunderstorm warning for Hancock and McDonough counties in western Illinois. Severe thunderstorms located along a line from near Keithsburg to Denmark, 6 miles northwest of Canton, moving east at about 60 miles an hour. So we'll go ahead and just kind of show you that very briefly. There's the line that shows up. Heaviest of the rainfall moving from west of Burlington, West Point, to the northwest of Keokuk. And again, this is all coming out of Clark County, moving due east at 60 miles per hour. The main hazard here, 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So this has been verified by trained weather spotters. This line has a history of producing damaging wind, so expect considerable tree damage, damage likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Burlington, Macomb, Keokuk, Monmouth, Carthage, Oquawka, Nauvoo, Bushnell, Hamilton, Warsaw, Colchester, La Harpe, Roseville, Dallas City, Stronghurst, Kirkwood, Blandonsville, Augusta, Bowen, Industry. You're in the line of this particular line of thunderstorms. And again, this is all moving into an area where we've got a tornado watch that's in effect. That means conditions are favorable for the development of these severe thunderstorms and the possibility of tornadoes in and close to the watch area, that until 4 o'clock in the morning for those counties that you see highlighted in that kind of mustard color. And again, this line of thunderstorms has a history of producing some damage. So again, severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30. Hancock, Henderson, Warren, and McDonough in western Illinois. Now to the matter at hand, we've got this tornado warning that's in effect until 10:30. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can get an update on that. And as of right now, we've got train spotter reporting hail about the size of peas. This is just about a mile east of Cahokia, that in Clark County. That just came in at about 10:14 this evening. That's the latest that we have from Clark County on that one. We have, is he on the line right now? He's standing by? Okay, did you get, okay. All right. Yeah, Jim is fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'd be fine. And just let me know when you got him on. That'd be fine. We're okay. I'm fine. Thank you. My cohorts are keeping an eye on me, and I appreciate that very much. Right now, we are looking at some updates that are coming in here. The National Weather Service continuing the tornado warning that has been observed here across parts of Lewis County. It doesn't say specifically, but they have observed 1-inch hail for Lewis and Marion. This does continue until 10:30 here. So I'm trying to see if there was anything specific. Emergency management did report a tornado near Ewing. That was the report that we got 10:15, and also located near Maywood, moving east at about 65 miles an hour. So let's see if we can take a look at that a little bit closer. So if that was the case, if this is moving to the east, yes, you can take that, Tegan, thank you. There is Ewing, there is Durham. We got some purple returns that are showing up on the radar there. And what happened to... I've lost some of my pallets here that I'm supposed to have. And I've lost my radar pallets. There we go. That gives me an idea of what I can be checking out here. And that's not working too well. And let's see if I can look at that. That's not working out too well. We're seeing some wind here that's showing up just south of Ewing, right along Highway 6. So if you're exiting Highway 61 and heading westbound on Highway 6, and you're approaching Ewing by about maybe 3 miles east of Ewing, you're going to be encountering some nasty wind, to say the least, if this data is correct. And then some really nasty rainfall. And I want to say that if this holds together, okay, I also want to say this. The tornado sirens are being activated in Quincy, Mendon, and Ursa. This is a precautionary note, but again, tornado sirens are being sounded for Quincy, Mendon, and Ursa at this time. Now I want to bring in a gentleman with an electric co-op from. Could I, Jim McCarty, with the Missouri Electric Co-op. I know that you've got a busy night, Jim. Thanks for joining us. Jim, are you there? Jim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay, Jim, I want to thank you very much for joining us. You've had a very busy night across a good part of the Show Me State.
Yeah, it looks like it's just getting started. It's a kind of a scary night. This looks like a really fast-moving storm.
All right. And forgive my ignorance, what part of Missouri are you particularly responsible for?
Well, the electric cooperatives serve just about all of Missouri, with the exception of St. Louis and Kansas City. So we're in the rural parts of the state from one border to the other. Okay,
so there are parts of Missouri outside of Kansas City that have been hard hit with this particular line of thunderstorms, particularly to the west of Highway 63. Now we've got this particular line of thunderstorms that's affecting a good chunk of Missouri that's just to the west of the Mississippi River. So do you have extra crews that are out and about that are taking care of some of those areas that have been reported without power?
Right. Of course, our first thing we want to do is make sure everybody's safe. But just as soon as the storm passes through, we'll be assessing the situation, and we'll get out there and get these lines back up as quick as we can. Looks like right now we got around 10,000 statewide with these outages starting in the Kansas City area, and looks like now they're working their way into your area.
So, Jim, what should people do if they do have power that goes out? What's the first thing they should do?
Well, they certainly want to call their electric co-op. The first thing always is to make sure that the issue isn't on your side. Check your breakers, but then you certainly want to call your electric co-op, and don't assume that your neighbors have done it as well. Of course, in a situation like this, sometimes it can be really hard to get through. But just keep trying and know that we want to get you on as fast as we can.
All right, good advice, Jim. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll let you get back to work.
You all stay safe.
All right, thank you. You too. And some good advice from a man who knows it, and with the electric cooperative serving all of rural Missouri, and they've had some real rough areas that have been hit hard across parts of Missouri. And we want to pass this along to you. Severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for northern Pike County in Illinois, Adams County. Even though that the tornado sirens have gone off, I do want to pass this along. Adams County, Brown County, northeastern Rawls County, eastern Marion County, eastern Lewis County. This is until 11:15 tonight. Thunderstorms extending from near Alexandria to Maywood to near Monroe City, all moving to the east at 65 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, quarter-size hail. This is indicated by radar, but we also have a verification as observed by, let me get back to this. We had an observation of from the Palmyra Fire Department. They reported a possible tornado on the ground near the North River, and I just lost my place on this particular scripting here. South of Palmyra, near the North River. This was at about 10:19. That was just a few minutes ago. But for right now, the National Weather Service is in confidence issuing, now they just issued a tornado warning for Lewis, Marion, and Adams County and Brown County until 11:15. So this now supersedes that severe thunderstorm warning that I just told you about. So now they've upgraded it. That was probably just, all right. Now we have John Hark on the phone, Emergency Management from Marion County. John, thanks for joining us this evening. All right, let's give them just a second here and see if we can get John Hark on the phone. Okay, John, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, John, thanks for joining us. I know this is kind of breaking right now. They just posted a tornado warning that kind of extends from your neck of the woods, pushing across the Mississippi River. Have you had any word, any immediate damage, or anything yet out of your area of responsibility?
Not at the moment. I just got off the phone with one of my deputies that's up in that area, and he's going to do some checking towards the Philadelphia, Warren, and over towards the West Quincy area and so forth. We've had nothing here in Hannibal except some pretty good winds, maybe 30, 35 miles an hour, but blowing first one direction, then the other. But I do have one guy that's one of my spotters. It's out by Clear Creek Road, and he is also kind of monitoring stuff north and west of Hannibal.
That would be real close to about where that last report came in. This is all moving very quickly off to the east at about 65 miles an hour. So these things are racing very quickly. And I'm looking up on our Skycam, seeing a very vivid display of lightning there just above the horizon, and just really, it looks as though it doesn't look as bad as some of the video that I saw coming out from Kansas City, but still the storm has got quite a bit of a punch.
Yeah, yes it does. I'm sure that's we've got code red messages. We've reposted you folks' weather stuff all day long, and we put out thunderstorm warnings. In fact, we just put out another thunderstorm warning to people for here in the Hannibal area and throughout Marion County. And I'm with you. I'm actually standing outside here in Hannibal and looking north and northwest, and it's really lighting up the sky.
All right. John Hark, we'll stay in touch here for the next 24 hours or so. We appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. John Hark with the Marion County Emergency Management. Now we've got Nick Stewart, who is now in Emden, who has come upon some severe damage. Nick, what have you got? All right, we've got to move from one thing to another back in the control room, and then we can get Nick Stewart on. We can tell you that we've got a report of hail up to about 7/10 of an inch in size at LaGrange. That's by a train spotter. There are a number of spotters that have been deployed west, south, and north of Hannibal. and also a citizen report of a funnel cloud near the hospital in West Burlington, Iowa. We'll continue to monitor these reports as they come in. Now we've got Nick Stewart, who's out on the line. Nick, what do you got in Emden?
I'm in Emden, Missouri. Coming to town on the west side, there were a few trees that were down. There were limbs that were blocking the roadway. I thought that really was it until I kind of came deeper into town, basically on the intersection of 168, Z and JJ. There is a storefront that is damaged here. Some type of building sustained frontal damage. It is blocking the roadway. I've been trying to contact the Sheriff's Department to let them know because it is blocking the roadway. This is basically in the center of Emden, Missouri, right where that storm rolled on through here in Shelby County.
All right, that was some of that reflectivity, that I don't want to say reflectivity, but some of that indication on radar that we had, but it looked like it was not a real good signal of what we call gate-to-gate shear like we like to see, Nick, but it looked like it had a little interference, but that's kind of what we saw there, at least for a short while on the radar. So at this point in time, we're still looking at a lot of wind associated with this as it crosses the Mississippi River, as it makes its way into western Illinois, which is why those tornado sirens did sound. Even though we may not have a visual appearance of a tornado, we're starting to see, we've got now blossoming reports of possible funnel clouds across parts of Burlington and southeast Iowa. We've had some possible sightings of tornadoes or funnel clouds, so that means you need to kind of take these warnings seriously.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't be surprised if some of this damage here was straight-lined wind damage in some extent, too. It's going to be hard to tell in the night or the darkness of night. I imagine National Weather Service St. Louis may come up here tomorrow to start investigating some of this damage. But again, this is now confirmed damage. This storm has produced damage as it continues to progress through far eastern Marion County and now into western Adams County. This is confirmed damage in the city of Emden, Missouri, and Shelby County, Missouri.
All right. Nick Stewart, thank you very much. We'll check in with you again soon. That's KHQA meteorologist Nick Stewart. He's at Mendon. He's all confirming that we had some damage there right around the Mendon area, and that is the area where this particular thunderstorm took its path almost directly overhead. Not quite sure if it was straight line wind or if it was caused by any kind of tornadic activity. That remains to be seen. So let's bring you up to date with what's happening here on the radar of what we've got going on. The line of thunderstorms that is coming in as we speak is now crossing the Mississippi River, has made its way in across